Feedback. Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton.
And I am Thabiti Mpinga.
Inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for Feedback,
A positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you. Feedback, feedback, feedback. And don't forget, you can take us along with you. Just go to the app on your phone. You know, everybody has one of those these days. They tell me we're moving into the modern age of technology. You're tuned into Feedback, a positive image production by Hood Research. My name is Theo Broughton, co-founder of Hood Research, and my co-host.
Thabiti, and we welcome you to the program.
Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Black History Month. Actually, Black History should be 365 days a year, 24/7 they say, and I guess even when we have one on leap year. That's how we should view it. That's how we should practice it. And we should share all of the history and information that we can with everyone that we can, every time we can, because we have so much to be proud of. I want to give a shout out to so many folks, to Katrina and to Carl and to Tawana and Miss Farmer and to Richard Nicole and oh my goodness, who you want to say shout out to?
Shout out to Sister Jackie, Professor Griggs, Brother Michael Imhotep, Gladys, Clementine, and as you can see, the numbers are at the bottom of the screen. And as I always say, and you see me demonstrate holding up pen and paper, have this information, have that ready, because we're going to have some information you definitely want to record. You don't want to just try to remember.
That's right, absolutely. We want you to know that, well, first of all, I think I should say that I want to lift up the name of Isaac Robinson. Isaac Robinson was an attorney in the city of Detroit, even ran for office as state rep and won. And Isaac Robinson is the person who introduced me to our guest this morning. I knew about the 158 detachment, but I didn't know that they were right in my neighborhood. So I thank Isaac Robinson for that. We have with us this morning Eugene Owens. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
And would you tell us, let's start out with, who is Eugene Owens?
Well, Eugene Owens, I'm a lifelong Detroiter to begin with. I've been in Detroit since I was 8 years old. I graduated from Eastern High School, and most of the people around, unless you have some knowledge, you have no idea what Eastern High School was. It was on the boulevard of and Mack. I went in the Marine Corps in 1965, served 4 years, and then I ended up staying in reserve time. I did 2 years in Vietnam. After I got out of the Marine Corps, I ended up joining the Detroit Police Department and spent 28 years with the Detroit Police Department.
Wow. That is very commendable.
And I just got to interject real quick. When Eastern High School shut down, it became Martin Luther King, which is where I ended up going. So all the people who were at Eastern High School transferred over to Lafayette and Martin Luther King High School. So we got something in common, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's something. Now, when you were in the Marines, people need to know some history about that. And it being Black History Month, of course. And well, let's share some of
Well,
that.
in actuality, when I was in the Marine Corps, you're referring to the Montford Point Marines, the original Black Marines. We knew nothing about it. And it was amazing that I served in Vietnam. Like I said, I served in Vietnam. I did 4 years active duty.
Right.
And came out, and after I got out, I ended up meeting the men that opened, which was our detachment, the Montford Point Detachment. And I found out from them who they were.
Oh, wow.
And I was tremendously surprised that no one acknowledged, no one knew about it, no one acknowledged it.
Right.
And they were very, I guess you could say, protective or whatever. They didn't look at themselves as heroes. They looked at themselves as, we did a job that we had to do at the time. But the more I researched it and looked into it, and I realized that, you know, you guys gave a tremendous contribution to Black history. And that's how I ended up starting the Black History Dinner back in 1992.
Wow.
And surprisingly enough, they were totally against it. It took me a couple of years to get them to do that.
Oh, wow.
Because they did not want to be singled out. They didn't think that they had done anything.
Oh,
And then the more people found out about it.
yeah.
It was years after that that even the Commandant of the Marine Corps, the head general, at the time, General Keller, he admitted he knew nothing about the Montford Point Marines. Even though there was a camp, Montford Point was a camp on Camp Lejeune.
Oh, wow.
They named it Camp Johnson after Hashmark Johnson, one of the original Montford Point Marines.
Wow.
So you got a camp that's named after a Black Marine, but you got the Commandant of the Marine Corps that knows nothing about the
About it.
history.
Oh, wow. That's how sad it is that there are too many who want to hide our information as a Black community in this country. There's who is it? A person. The last name is Wiley. I haven't had a chance to look it up yet, and he says something like 100 Black men, 1,000 Black men, 1 million Black men, and it builds America, and I want to try and find out if somebody tuned in knows about that statement, to call and let us know. But anyway, the point is, there are so many of our people who have contributed to the development of this country, and the history keeps getting pushed back, pushed back.
Yes.
Don't tell anybody about it. And now we got some idiot in Florida who's trying to eliminate more Black history from being taught in the schools there. It's disgusting. But the president at the time, President Roosevelt Franklin, is the one who established the Montford Point Marines. You call it Detachment 158, I think it is. And I was reading that. This is a few years ago, after I was introduced to you over at the location on Joy Road. And I was excited, but I'm like, well, why didn't I know about this? I mean, right in my own neighborhood, not on the east side or the west side or the south side, but right down the street. So I just started telling everybody, and I have been excited about it ever since. And about, I guess it must be, because the virus pandemic was 2 years, so I guess this year will be going into 6 years ago, that I just had the desire. What year was the mural painted on the front of the building?
That was 5 years ago.
5
Yeah,
years,
5
okay.
years ago.
So it was 5 years ago. I had this desire to have light. You call them spotlights?
Yeah, I'd say
Spotlights.
spotlights, highlights.
I just thought the mural on the building was just such a wonderful idea, and it had to have spotlights. It had to have spotlights, and there were no spotlights. It just bugged the hell out of me. So finally, last year, I was able to receive some money from our state rep, Karen Whitsett, and we got spotlights. It's beautiful at night. And
And I want to ask, and then I'll let you continue. Pardon my interruption. Now, you all had a different mural years ago, right? And why I say that is because my granddaughter and I took a picture in front of a mural that's different than the one that you have now, but it didn't have the big Montford Point, that round thing that says Montford Point Marine on it.
Yeah.
But there was a different mural there, and I had her standing there, and she's standing there saluting, and then she took pictures of me. And then, as you say, 5 years ago, you had this other one painted?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the Marine Corps came to Detroit, and they painted that on there.
Oh, okay.
And that big circle you were talking about, that's a replica of the coin that was given to the Montford Point Marines.
oh,
That is the Congressional
Wow.
medal, gold medal. It's the Congressional gold medal. And during Barack Obama, they presented those to all the Montford Point Marines.
oh, that's wonderful.
But that's why I was going to say that thanks to you, anyone coming down Joy Road now at night, they can't miss it. You know?
That's right. Oh, it's such a beautiful thing. And I just wanted people to know that the Montford Point Marines are right here in Detroit, Michigan. And the center's wonderful.
And I want to add to that because I became involved with Montford Point Marines because of Theo, and most of us know about Buffalo Soldiers and the Tuskegee Airmen, but I had no idea about the Montford Point Marine. Even when my granddaughter and I took a picture in front of the building, I had no idea, what we were taking a picture of. I just knew that it represented us. So I did a little research because since I was involved in some of the going-ons of that particular building, I looked it up, and I just for the audience to know that, okay, I believe it was from 1942 to 49 that they had the Montford Point Marines, and there were over 20,000 of them. And one of the things that really disturbed me, but this is America, so it didn't surprise me either, that the regular Marines or Caucasian Marines at Camp Lejeune had barracks, physical barracks, and during that time from 42, and I don't know if it lasted up to 49, the black Marines had tents that they were housed in. So there in itself was an expression of the discrimination where they were going to have segregated units, but we already know that segregation is still prevalent today in housing and so many other things. But I just wanted to share that with the people, that there were over 20,000 African Americans who were involved in the Montford Point Marine during that 1942 to 49 period of time. And they've got a beautiful building. I just have to say, I've seen so many pictures on the wall. I saw Brother Eugene on the wall along with some of the other brothers. And it just really made me feel good. I'm going to try to put together a little small video and put it on Facebook, because I think we should know about them like we know about Buffalo Soldiers and Tuskegee Airmen. We've got to. No one's going to speak about our history if we don't.
That's right.
Yeah, there's one, and all of that kind of feeds into it. Well, what you're talking about, they was given a camp that did not exist. They had to build it themselves. So from 1942 to 1949, they actually built that up into a camp.
Oh,
They built the buildings, they built everything. But the other thing that I was going to bring up is, like you was mentioning, the Buffalo Soldiers and all of them. Way back, and one thing that I uncovered in the history was very interesting, was at one point after slavery, black people was offered the opportunity to go back to Africa, and they sent a lot back. But there was a group of black people that confronted the white people and says, wait a minute, we've put so much into this country. If you want to go back to England, then you go. But we're going to stay here.
Uh-oh.
So there was a segment of black people that said, far as we're concerned, this is just as much our country as it is yours.
Oh,
And you're not sending us back unless you go back.
oh,
And that spirit was what came out from the Buffalo Soldiers, the Montford Point Marines, the Tuskegee Airmen, the spirit that this is just as much ours as it is yours.
oh.
And we're going to stand our ground.
Well,
I love that.
told them, didn't he? Just told them off.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Now, is there some more of that kind of information, like people or names of folks, in
There was-
history that we could, we could research?
The only thing I know is if you look up I think it was the Freedmen's Society.
Oh, okay.
And they were the Freedmen's Society was the ones that was, the organization on the black side that said, wait a minute, we've put so much into this country, so many of our people have died for it, and we think this is just as much ours as yours. And you're not going to send us all back to Africa.
You said Freedmen's Society?
Freedmen's Society.
Okay. I like to take notes.
Wow, yeah, right. Well, before I continue, I want to say thank you to Dennis Smith, the master electrician, along with the medium Pinda, for the wonderful job they did over at the location of the Montford Point Marines. And it made my dream come true, I was you just don't know how excited I was about that.
Well, we really appreciate it, and like I say, the building looks like Metro Airport now at night.
All right.
You can clearly see the runway.
Well put.
Oh, man, we have to see what else we can get done around here and around
I just
there.
hope the people in the
particularly.
area will stop and tell their children,
Oh, yeah.
research enough to tell what they say,
Yes.
tell your children.
And I
Oh, we
would
have to do that.
suggest, because I did it with my granddaughter, even before I knew about them, she and I took pictures, and now we're going to take, soon as, the weather gets comfortable, I'll put it that way, in front of it again. But I say that to say that I've been over to the Coleman Young Airport and took a picture of myself with the Tuskegee Airmen, and as this brother Eugene was saying, I think it's a good thing for them to not only know that it's there, but take pictures and send it to your family, because you're on Facebook with so many other things, worthwhile and worth less. And that's, so I would just say, do that and let them know that you're aware of history too, because we have to share history among each other. Again, we can't expect anyone else to blow our own horn. We have to blow it ourselves.
That's right. And it is interesting that the Buffalo Soldiers have a museum a little farther down on Joy Road, and I have to hear that because we have so much that we're a lot of our struggles are uphill battles, and then to have to hear something like that is extremely disturbing. And I just think about the work that the fraternities and sororities do. And, of course, when they heard about this, they dismissed the three from the Omega Psi Phi fraternity, which is an appropriate thing to do. But the other concern that I have now is, will the fraternities come front and center, and the sororities, to fight for the George Floyd bill and any other bill that would help to correct, improve, and whatever adjective you want to put in there, the police department. You said you had been on the department for 28 years, I think you said.
Yes.
What did you think when you heard about that?
About this incident?
Tragic incident.
Well,
Mhm.
yes. First thing I was trying to figure out how it happened, but I watched the video and everything totally. And one of the big things that I have got out of all of these police incidents is one of the biggest problems that people are not really looking into is leadership. And it's just like the military.
Okay.
You take young men, women, give them authority, give them a gun, put them out in society. You got to have somebody that is controlling them. You got to have leaders that are on point. And it's like, raising your children. Your children going out into the world, but it's got to be enforced on them, right and wrong, and it's got to be done every day. When I was on the police department, even when I became a sergeant, I had to constantly monitor my people because, humans have human frailties, and they can get out there and go wrong. And it was my job to watch them, to monitor them, and make sure that they was doing what was right. And many a times I've had to intervene and says, hey, pull them aside, take them inside. Says, we don't do it this way. I go back to, I remember when Coleman Young, when I first came on the police department, Coleman Young had made a speech, and he says the Detroit Police Department at that time was almost 90% white. He says, I get all kinds of complaints from the black community about the police department. So when are you going to step up and become one of them? When are you going to step up and take your position? And that was one of the reasons I joined the department.
Wow.
Because Coleman Young had put out the challenge for young black men, step up.
Right.
And once I got on and I got out there, I saw many occasions where if we wasn't there at the time, it would have went wrong. But these young men, they obviously went way off the track. And their leadership, that's where you have to really look at, is the leadership.
Wow. We have a caller on the line.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Good morning. This is Tawana Morris.
Well, happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday. And I'm viewing you on Channel 90. And I'd like to comment about the Detroit Police Department because, about the police officers because I am a retired Detroit police officer. And it's sad that we have fought all this time, and I came on with Coleman Young as well. And I took pride in the work that we did. And it was a struggle going forward. And now, today, it seems like it's a slap in the face because all the things that were taught during our era and moving forward, the young people today should take heed to our advice. And I'm looking for others to step up like we did when we were on the force.
Right. I do. I appreciate that input. And further with this issue, I think about fraternities that have hazing, and that's very brutal. And I could never understand why they couldn't come up with a positive way to challenge the fledglings for the fraternities and sororities. Give them something positive to do. Let them help clean up the neighborhood, help them as it relates to teaching our young children who need tutoring in reading, help them pass out literature of whatever kind, and including literature for those who are running for office, but do some positive activities. Challenge that as opposed to beating somebody down on the ground. And when I heard about these three who were members of the Omega fraternity, all I could think about was hazing. Are they trying to I don't know, get back, because it seems like when people are part of violence, instead of getting back at the one who treated them bad or beat on them, they go beat on somebody else. And it just really was not making any logical sense to me that they would embarrass themselves, degrade themselves, and they're supposed to be representing the positive and all that's positive in the black community.
Protect and serve.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All of that went out the window, as they say. You know. Mm-hmm.
But like I say, we have to really focus on leadership because, and you got to demand that the leaders are doing their job.
Okay.
Because I saw in my last years on the department how they start pulling away from leadership and going, I don't know what you would call it, but they started going away from it. And then that's where you could see the rise and everything.
Oh, wow.
It was amazing that, I don't know if you remember in the 80s when they had that large number of shootings, Detroit police officers were shooting everybody. And the feds came in and did an investigation. And they says, well, you took all the offensive weapons away from your police officers and left them with only a gun. And now you wonder why they're shooting everybody. They don't have anything else. That's the only thing they had to resort to.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Whoa.
But also,
Wow.
if I can add, moving forward, the transition, it came also from the people in the streets, the citizens, who was tired of seeing all of this rogue activity, and they took to the streets, like the Detroit Coalition Against Police Brutality, Michigan Welfare Rights. But I can go down the line. But it took advocating in the streets, letting law enforcement know that we were not going to put up with this. I think we've come far enough that we don't have to break out into the streets in violence. But just like Theo said, use your education for good and promote good. This goes for law enforcement. This goes for judges. We need to get back on the right track. This saying what you want to say, judges, you have a role that you are supposed to uphold, not go rogue. That goes for the law enforcement. Hood research. And just like y'all do it right now on television, advocating and letting people know, look, this is not the right way. And there is a peaceful way, and we can attain this. I'm going to hang up and listen to the rest.
All
Are there any
right.
more questions for me?
If you
I'm
have
more than happy to
another
answer.
comment, feel free to call back. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sound good. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Wow. You know, we have a police commission made up of 11 members from the community who are supposed to be an oversight group of the police department. And the members of the community have an opportunity to attend those meetings, which are weekly. Every Thursday, they meet at the headquarters on Michigan Avenue and 3rd at 3 o'clock. There's one day of the month when they meet in the community in the evening at 6, which gives workers an opportunity to come to the meetings after their job is done. And I think that more people should participate. And if they're unable to physically attend the meetings, they do have an opportunity to call in, listen to the meeting, and make their comments. Now, out of the 11 members of the police commission, 7 of them, each representing one of the 7 districts in the city, are elected by residents. The other 4 are appointed by the mayor. And I think that it is important for the residents to participate and give their input and let them know that we are concerned and are also able to apply pressure for them to take on their responsibility as residents. So that's one method by which we can do that. And then they should be told about the leadership issues. And then perhaps they can make some policies and recommend some different kinds of training or additional training. Maybe that would be it. What do you think?
Well, I think it's a good idea, and I like what the brother said, because when you said it started to diminish, it made me think. I've been listening to a lot of law enforcement officers over this past week and a half, 2 weeks since Tyree Nichols lost his life, and a lot of them has said that it's a part of the culture. And as you said, you took command, and I had a sister who's retired now, police officer, a brother, a stepbrother actually, who passed away, but he was also an officer. Let me just say, I know a lot of different officers, and one thing I will say, and then a co-founder of Hood Research, Reggie Crawford, and there are a lot of upright, stand-up men and women who wear that uniform. And just like with any other group, you have some bad apples, like, they think of black youth as bad, but it's only a small portion of them who may be out here doing some wild things. The majority are hardworking, going to school, and it's the same thing for the police officers who put their life on the line every day, because you never know what's going to happen from day to day once you hit that clock, so to speak. So I think the idea, just to what you were saying, Theo, the idea of leadership, and even more important, the culture, because the man in charge, just like when I worked for the government, the man in charge is the one who makes sure that everybody up under them follow the protocol. And if you do something wrong, say, look, we don't want this bad light shining on us. So you need to get your act together. If you got some issues, emotional, anger issues, then go to one of them places where they let you take a sledgehammer and beat on an old beat-up car or something like that and get it out your system, and then come on into work and do your job, which is to protect and serve.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one thing that is, something I've really picked up on, we have military people that went to Afghanistan, Iraq, did 6 months, 8 months over there. Mm-hmm. They came back, and the first thing everybody's talking about is PTSD. Mm-hmm. You got police officers that work every day. Mm-hmm. They're going to murder scenes, they're being involved in all this, but there's no concern about their PTSD. Mm-hmm. And if you look it up on the computer and research it, police officers and firefighters suffer from PTSD on a wide range. So people are so quick to judge, well, the reason that cop shot that person 9 times was because they don't like X number. The reason they shot him 9 times might be because they have a problem. Might be because they have a problem.
Very good point.
And I like to add now, I've got information, all kind of information in my head, just jumbled around from all kind of things. But one of the things I noted that they say that maybe there's a higher rate of suicide, divorces, and other issues, as you say, and this all comes under PTSD, because of the stresses of the job, which none of us can really imagine. I mean, really, we cannot imagine what it is, as you say, going to a murder scene. My sister's told me about various things that she's encountered. And I'll just say this now, I don't know if there's a blue wall of silence or whatever it is, but they do need somebody to talk to. Now, let me ask you this, because it just occurred to me. Is there anything within the departments themselves where officers can get any kind of counseling? They can go and seek help?
Well, when I was working, it was not, it was kind of basically frowned upon because you thought you was going to lose your job. Or, like they said, they're going to put you on the rubber gun squad if you showed that you had emotional problems. So officers steered, that was one thing they didn't do at all. And if they had to go get, a lot of them went on personally, outside. It shouldn't be like that.
Wow. That's something.
That should be brought up at the meeting.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. And now I'm listening to this. We have to stop and take our top of the hour break for station identification. Call somebody and tell them to tune in. This is the most important conversation we're having this morning. And we want you to stay tuned because we'll be back momentarily.
This is Bruce Simpson, your City of Detroit Ombudsman. I am here to address all of your complaints and concerns. If you need assistance regarding city services, please contact my office at 313-224-6000 or contact us via email at ombudsman@detroitmi.gov. This is Bruce Simpson, your City of Detroit Ombudsman.
It's the These Nuts Show with your host, Butter and friends. Butter here, magician escape artist, practicing for my show tonight. Come on in, have a seat.
All right, everybody settle. Butter, you're on in 5, 4, 3, 2.
In a few seconds, you gotta be enough to get out of this one. Twist, a little turn, ta-da! It's showtime! It's your old friend Butter here. I may be a nut, but I know to wear my mask. Please welcome my first guest tonight, fitness guru, Wally Wallman.
Wally Wallman here to tell you to wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds so you will stay healthy and strong like me.
Almond Cruz here, sliding in with the news. Distance is what we must do to stay away from the chew and other germs in the air that might be trying to get on you. Social distancing is a wonderful way to see friends. As long as you're 6 feet apart, you win.
Hey there, friends. I wouldn't miss this for the world. It's me, Pumpkin Spice, your healthy girl. Remember, it's important to use your kind hearts and follow the signs to stay healthy and safe at all times.
Chica Chiminsky here to say, don't forget the little ones that need you to lead the way. That's how we remember to wash our hands, mask, and social distance today.
Morgan Raisin. Yes, it's me, here to sing about health and safety. We are all here to help get a message out to your grapevine, teaching healthy choices to stay safe all the time.
Don't let these guys drive you nuts. Put your mask on first. They'll let you be. And it keeps me safe from the
chew
that's trying to get on me.
Butter me up. She's right, you know. Thank you, Hallie Cranberry, for joining the show. Let's all be nuts about our health. Social distancing, wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer, and wear a mask. Practice what we learned to stay away from the germs. We're all in this together. Coming soon, the many adventures of these nuts in a theater near you.
Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton,
And I am Thabiti Mpinga,
inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for feedback.
a positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV. Watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you. Feedback. And we have returned, and you're tuned into Feedback, a positive image production by Hood Research. And we have with us this morning our guest, former Junior Commandant Eugene Owens from the Mumford Point Marines Detachment 158, and they're located at 17321 Joy Road. Just about a half a block or so What did I say?
13, 7, 21.
Oh, what the 17? 13, 7, 2, 1. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. 13, 7, 2, 1 Joy Road, approximately a half a block west of Schaefer. And we have a caller on the line.
Yes. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Hi, this is Tawana again, and I was I am a survivor of the police department and the mental health situation, and I was dealing with sexual harassment within the police department, and they do alienate. There is a blue wall of silence. And down through the years of fighting and advocating with groups, we have come a little better. We're doing a little better. The department is doing a little better, and some changes have been made. The weapons sector, they have tasers, which I was against tasers, but they do have other weapons of use, and now they're using the social advocates, social workers. I think that's moving forward. But within the department, there still is a blue wall, and they alienate you. And the department does things like take away your pay, and you can't find, they suspend your pay because they're doing the investigation, which could take anywhere from a year to 2 years. You have no income. You can't file unemployment because you're not unemployed. These are some of the tactics that the department use. I hope things have gotten better since my retirement of 2012. So it's still an ongoing struggle, but I still have my eyes on the department. They are doing better.
Well, thank you for
but
that.
The department can be very, very negative, and nobody else knows that you even exist.
Wow.
I was listening to, I forgot the name of it, but anyway, it comes on one of the major channels, and they had former Chief Ralph Godby on there, and he kind of spoke to some of those things as well. They had Sam Riddle on the first part of the program, and then the second part of the program, they had former Chief Ralph Godby on there, and he said many of the things that both of you are saying, and I was kind of surprised. I don't really know a lot about his background, but for him, because he was commenting on the Terry Nichols murder, and he said a lot of the things that both of you are saying, and one of the things that we were discussing with Brother Owens is that there's no resource for an officer who deals with stress. As an electrician, I've dealt with the stress of, but in a totally different way, of being shocked, and I've been shocked many a times, and I've had things blow up in my face as a result of that. But I know as an electrician, I had to, there were things I had to, be cautious about, and I can't even begin to imagine, not only for officers, but I think about people, because Brother Owens was also in Vietnam War, the stresses of you got an enemy attacking you. Well, with police officers, you don't know who likes or dislikes you, and one of the things about that, and I take it to heart, that the one officer who does something bad, let's say Derek Chauvin in terms of George Floyd, he makes the other ones, he creates an atmosphere where other people, just the average citizen, has a certain amount of fear and maybe even animosity towards them. So I think that, like when Theo mentioned that, I believe it's every Thursday they have the police commission meetings, it's very important for the citizenry to really get out there and speak about some of their concerns. We can talk to our neighbors, but speak to the people who actually have some oversight, because I think that's the most critical and important thing.
Well, it was an outside psychiatrist that helped me because I said the department sent me to a psychiatrist. I said, let me get my own. Let them tell me. And the psychiatrist says, you're not crazy. They messed over you. And the department has a strong entity. They tell you what to do, when to do, how to do, and they control your mind. I had to listen to my psychiatrist, and he said, you do what I tell you. I'm safe today.
It's a blessing.
And I'm stronger. I take more time and analyze before I jump. And I think to the officers, if I can offer something, if you're having a problem, don't hold it in. Seek help, because you're not by yourself.
And I just want to add one last thing on my part. Because of this, when things make the headlines, a lot of other information comes out. But it was said that there are over 18,000 police units or stations, which this includes county sheriffs as well as state troopers and police, over 18,000 in the United States. That's a lot of departments, and that's a lot of people in those departments. So, again, I think that those who have family members, be as supportive as you can, because I've had, again, family members and an in-law. He's a state trooper in Florida, and I guess just because of who I am, my nature, or whatever, they felt comfortable talking to me. And I would just encourage everyone, not only for police officers, just in general, we have mental health issues in our community, just period. We just need to be able to talk to each other. Black men have issues where we got to be stronger, and we've got to tolerate a lot more things from society, and then you don't want to come home and have to deal with certain things. So I don't know, they call it PTSD, and some of us use that post-traumatic slavery disorder as well, because we still inherit or carry some of those same emotions generationally that we've had to do when we were enslaved. So during Black History Month, let's try to be a little bit more open and understanding to our own community.
And one wouldn't think that the effects of being enslaved have carried over so long, but they really have.
Yes.
Some of our people just don't want to admit it. Some young folks are saying, well, I don't want to talk about that slavery stuff. I don't want to talk about Black history. And that means that they are not interested in learning about the positive side of what our people have accomplished despite the way they were enslaved. So... oh boy, we just have a struggle that continues, and we have to do all that we can to make it better. And one thing I continue to say is that tutoring our young people in the schools is extremely important, because we want them to get the best education that they can. And phonics has been taken out of the school, cursive writing has been taken out of the school. And that's one of those areas that we need to fight to have it restored, to help them be able to stand on their own 2 feet and be interested in learning about themselves and their families and their history. Junior Commandant, I like that. Eugenio is another, I guess, concern of mine that we encourage people to call. There's a new number they're giving out, which is 873-7490, if you're interested in tutoring the children. And you go through, the Detroit Public School System to get established and work with the Let's Read program, because that is so desperately important. Our children have heard, as adults have heard, that if you are not reading satisfactorily, by the time you finish the third grade, there's a prison bed waiting on you. You know?
And I just want to, although we still have a sufficient amount of time, brother, I want you to mention about the dinner again, because people who tune in late haven't heard you speak about the dinner and, you know, all the things surrounding. So if you would share the information, contact information, costs, and all that, you know, for the people who may have just tuned in.
Okay, yes. It's our annual Black History Dinner. It's this Saturday, February the 11th, 6 p.m. at the Doubletree Hotel on Ford Road and Southfield Freeway. And the tickets are $60. And if they want to, they could contact me at 313-587-1206 for tickets.
Okay, and you had an address and a time on Wednesday also?
Yeah, we will. Our hall on Joy Road, 13721 Joy Road. We'll be there from 3 p.m. to about 9 p.m. And they could come by there to get tickets.
That's on Wednesday, I believe?
Yes.
Wednesday, okay. So I don't know if you have a further thing you want to contribute, Sister Tawana, and this is a good sister too. She's been out there. You know, I applaud her for all her efforts, because we've got some strong black women who are out here doing things. Theo obviously represents that, and Tawana definitely represents that. So I just wanted to know, sister, is there anything else you want to contribute to our discussion?
Well, I encourage the black to heighten your horizon. And Theo, I just want to get that phone number for the reading program.
Okay. The Let's Read program is area code 313-873-7490. Again, that's
Thank you.
313-873-7490.
Got it. I'm hanging up and I'm listening.
Okay. All righty. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Yes. I'm really appreciative of the analysis that you have shared and the recommendations that you have shared that would improve the current attitude that seems to be floating out there from the police department. And we, for one, I, for one, two, am going to bring that up. And I encourage others, you know, as I said before, to come to the police commission meetings. But this way of treating the black community here, there's so many things that are going on, the foreclosures on the homes, the increasing of the water bills, and the joblessness that's going on. And you had some information that Sylvia shared with us about the working. Did you take notes on that?
Yes. Now, those who are interested, and I emphasize, although they have so many different positions, they mention skilled trades, which I am a retired skilled tradesman, and I always encourage that. I was at a black business, as a matter of fact, over on Schaefer near 7 Mile, and they sell uniforms and apparel, work uniforms. So I was telling the young men, there were a couple of young men there, about getting into the skilled trades. I actually had some overalls on that I had purchased from them maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I went there to purchase something else. And we just got in a nice little discussion. And I'm just using this as a lead up to what Sylvia said, in that I was letting these young men know that when you get involved in the skilled trades, you can make well over $100,000 a year as a carpenter, electrician, plumber, and a lot of people frown upon that because, well, the youth today, many of them frown upon it because, oh, man, that's a dirty job, blah, blah, this and that. Matter of fact, one of the guys in the store when I was talking to them, you know, because I try to counsel whenever I can, whenever I get a listening ear, he said, yeah, somebody had told him about plumbing. He said, man, I can't mess with no boo-boo, you know. And then when I was going through TULC training, they mentioned how Yeah, you'll get dirty, whether it's a plumber, electrician, carpenter, whatever. But with the money you make, you can buy plenty of soap. So don't let the issue of being dirty because you want to look clean for the girls. We got this image thing too. So Sylvia's were letting you know that if you contract Detroit at Work, that's all one word, Detroit at work.com. You can look for various jobs, which include skilled trades. Again, as I say, I push that. And also you can call 313-962-WORK, work. Again, that's area code 313-962-WORK. The Northwest Activity Centers over on Myers near Curtis facilitates that, and they actually have a lot of the information you want to get. So again, if you're looking for employment, being idle is not a good thing for anyone, idle mind or idle body. You can go to DetroitAtWork.com, or you can call area code 313-962-WORK.
Okay. Now, would you share with us, Junior Commandant Eugene Owens, some of the other activities that the community may be a part of to support the organization, the center?
Well, we have a hall that's open for the community.
Okay.
If someone wanted to come in to hold business meetings, or they want to hold any kind of social event, we have a hall there that's available. And we have there was a young lady that the reading program, where they have the books out front. We have a stand, one of those book cabinets out front where people can get books.
Oh, okay.
We had at one time, someone was interested, like you were saying, tutoring, to come in to tutor the young people.
Oh, okay.
But that's, volunteer work.
I got you. Oh, okay. And then the number again, if they wanted to do something like that or even make donations.
Well, if they
to the
could give me a
Muffler
call,
Raised and-
313-587-1206.
313-587
1206.
Okay.
Now, I'm not sure if you guys still do that. This is how I found out about, even before I knew about the Montford Point Marines. I know Theo would tell me, because I think we came by there one time, about you guys used to have a fish fry every Friday?
No, we still have it every Friday.
Okay, tell them about that.
Every Friday after evening from about 4 p.m. to about 9 p.m. we have a fish fry. And that's a fundraising event for the detachment. But it's open to the public, and anyone can come by and purchase. Normally we have 2 or 3 different types of fish and chicken and stuff. But it's a fundraising event for the detachment.
Oh, okay.
And it's open to the public.
Oh, okay.
Now that's
good to know.
17. No, it's 13-7-21. Here we go. I had to look at my notes. 13-7-21 Joy Road. And I just want to let you all know, Dennis and I enjoyed the fish. It was a good meal. And in our community, we seem to love fish. I guess that's why the Muslims, that was the one thing you could get from them. They were going to have fish. And it's good. And it's a nice environment, too. I have to say, I really enjoyed being there, not only for the work, but just for the atmosphere and that thing. So this is something that, and let me encourage you, that if not only yourself, but the information that we're sharing it with your neighbors, your friends, your co-workers, church members, whatever organization you may associate with. Share this information with them. Sometimes we can't take advantage of certain things, but we can share that information for others who wouldn't know if we did not share that with them. And I'm going to make sure, I just do this anyway, this is just who I am. I put my stuff on Facebook, I text people, let them know, because if we don't know, then we can't act.
WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit.
Right. And it's important to be supportive and to share the history of the Montford Point Marines, 158 Detachment. And it's something that gives you pride. And just to know that our people have been involved in so many areas in this country. We hear talk about our people built the country, but they fought for the country. And we need to share that information with those coming after us. Never be ashamed to talk about your own history. It's the best on the planet, I think.
And that's why, like when Theo would speak about vote and say, why do they want to take your vote? If it's valuable, which is why they want to take it from you or disenfranchise you. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with our history. If we don't treat it the same way, which is what we need to do, then people like Greg Abbott in Texas, Ron DeSantis in Florida, and others will try to take it away. We have had to fight, and we must continue to fight for everything we get, because if we don't, then they want to turn the clock back. These MAGA people are very dead set and intentional in what they do, and it might take them years, but they never relent, and they're trying to do something. They started as a Tea Party, and they never relented, and they moved on up to MAGA with their maggot-brained 45 president. So they never stop, which means we can never stop, because if we don't, they're going to keep turning back the hands of time. And once things become law, we really got a problem. We have to change the laws. As we said, the George Floyd bill needs to be passed. But if we don't tell our representatives, they're just going to sit around in the office and, spin play with a pencil in their hand, doodling on some paper. We didn't pay them for that.
Yeah, absolutely right. And it is just, just so exciting to know that the pandemic is we like to think is under control somewhat, and that we can get back to supporting those organizations in our community. And on this day, we're asking you to support the Montford Point Marines that are located inside the city of Detroit. I mean, that's amazing to have to be here, to know what they have done, and to be able to support them, to keep them going. Now, with the Montford Point Marines, after, I don't know, when so-called segregation was eliminated, do you still have the 158 detachment? I mean, did it, I guess, merge into the...
Well, you're talking about the regular Marines, the Montford Point Marines. They merged into the regular Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. And that is one of the things that is part of the history also, that the Montford Pointers was the actual foundation. They were the ones that proverbially kicked the door open. But the Marine Corps is a tactical fighting organization. Now, the first thing they had to do was prove that they could even survive in the Marine Corps and become a part of it. But the next step was, and which Vietnam was the first time that blacks in the Marine Corps started getting into leadership positions. And Vietnam was where we actually showed that we could lead. We weren't only followers, we could lead. I had the opportunity of training officers in Quantico, Virginia. That's where the Marine Corps trains its officers. And at that time, this is one of the big things was that most of the, I'd say over half the instructors were black. Drill instructors were black.
Wow.
But we didn't have any black candidates coming in as officers.
Wow.
And the ones that did come in, it seemed like they were selected to fail.
Wow.
And because the first thing coming in the Marine Corps, especially being an officer, you got to be a real physical fit person. And on top of that, you got to be smart and savvy. But the physical fitness is, if you can't get past that, nothing else matters.
Wow.
So they sent us some people that, barely couldn't walk up a flight of steps. So
And they sent them, and they knew that.
yeah, they were deliberately recruited to fail.
Wow.
But I had one particular candidate that came through, and his name was Joe Biggers. And when he reported to the OCS, the word went around because we knew that he was going to be a positive figure. Joe Biggers, not only did he make it through, he set a lot of physical records and the academics and everything at OCS. And he went on to be, he stayed in the Marine Corps and retired as a colonel.
Wow.
And he was one of the outstanding candidates. But to be able to lead is so important. And the Marine Corps just got his first 4-star black general about a year ago.
Okay. Now, was that 4-star general an African American?
Is he what?
Is he black?
Oh, yes. That's what I was saying. The first
okay.
4-star black general.
Oh, okay.
Matter of fact, he's I think he's still in command of the Africa Corps.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And his name?
I don't have it offhand, but
Wow.
he was the first 4-star.
Well, see, that's good to know as well. Okay, well, we're at the end of this morning's program, which I have thoroughly enjoyed. And I just appreciate the fact that you had the time to share with us this morning. And this is Junior Commandant Eugene Owens. And remember the Black History Dinner, which is this Saturday, February the 11th, at the Doubletree Hotel on the Southfield and Ford Road. The telephone number, if you want to buy tickets, has to be done by Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, between 3 and 9 p.m. at the location. And the telephone number to call is 313
587
1206.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, okay. And I say at the end of our program, see, it's not necessary for you to know everything. What is necessary is for you to know how to find what you need when you need it. We encourage you to join Hood Research. We seek out as much information as we can and invite you to do the same, to share. And that helps us all make better decisions.
And as I always say at the end of every program, if you want to be nothing, do nothing. But the only problem with doing nothing is you never know when you're finished.
And to contact Hood Research, you can Google us, Google Hood Research, or you can call us, area code 248-234-2371. Again, area code 248-234-2371. On email, contact us at hoodresearch.org. That's CONTACT at HOODRESEARCH.org. Thank you so much for tuning in, and tune in again next Monday at 9 a.m. right here. WHPR, WHPS. Peace. Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton,
And I am Thabiti Mpinga,
inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for feedback.
a positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV. Watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
and take us along with you.
feedback.